and welcome to the pre-conference podcast for the Greenwashing Legal Risk Management and Compliance Strategies Summit. It will take place in Brussels on the 8th of November. And today we have the pleasure of introducing you to Dr. Yves Bock with Siemens Smart Infrastructure. Yves, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Olga.
Thank you. So could you tell us a bit about yourself and your role in the company and the company itself a bit?
Sure. I'm a qualified lawyer. I'm working with Siemens for more than 15 years now. I've been in various industries and have been counseling various legal topics. Currently, I'm acting as the General Counsel for our smart infrastructure business, which means it's about connecting the electricity grids to buildings and other facilities who are taking the energy off the grid, and Siemens is trying to optimize this process. So the consumption of the energy in buildings and industrial facilities and the grid which provides the energy. So we are all looking towards an all electrified, very smart world, and Siemens is right in it.
Right, we do look forward to it as well. Thank you very much for the introduction. And so at the summit, your presentation will be about managing contractual risks while dealing with customers and partners' decarbonization targets. So could you please elaborate a bit on how the topic of greenwashing is linked to contracts and how can it become a contractual risk?
Yeah. Sure, I can do that. I mean, currently, every company is looking at its sustainability targets. Yeah, how quickly can I decarbonize my operations? And of course, different companies have different starting positions. Yeah, so you get various targets, yeah, most likely. Some are very ambitious. Yeah, they want to speed up the whole process. They say time is of the essence, which definitely is right. Others say my operations are so complex, I can't do it maybe in 10, 15 years. Yeah, I will need more time. So essentially, when you look at this, you will see different targets. They are communicated to the public. Yeah? But of course, the companies need not only themselves to arrive at these targets, but they need their suppliers, their partners. Yeah? They need a coerced effort. Yeah. So what we see is that every company reaches out to other companies and starts asking for, hello guys, I want to be carbon neutral by 2035. So you're going to have to support me. Please sign here that you do everything to support me. And of course, depending on the language, this document then can become part of a contract or a part of a business transaction and can be of a binding nature. And if you then fall forward when you sign off something like that, there may be a contractual risk to that. And I think everybody needs to be aware of that. And we as an industry need to find a solution how we can avoid that we have a scattered landscape of different undertakings all over the place. So this is what I'm going to talk about, elaborate a little bit, and hopefully I will try to present not maybe a solution, but a way forward, which will not harm the whole undertaking. Because we all agree that everybody is right in decarbonizing his operations as soon as possible.
Yes, absolutely. That's a very, very good point and very valid one. I can indeed imagine that these issues can become significant challenges for a lot of companies and a lot of industries as well. And so in your opinion...
It's also, Olga, it's also a formal burden, right? I mean, if every company now reaches out to its suppliers and partners with different letters and asks for different undertakings, different commitments, I mean, it's a bureaucratic nightmare to a certain extent just to keep the overview about all the undertakings which may be out there. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can imagine that it can be a tough challenge to actually deal with all this. A very good point and a very good challenge to keep in mind. And so what would you say, in your opinion, which challenges should the companies in different industries prepare for in the nearest future while dealing with decarbonization targets, their own, and potentially different targets of their suppliers and partners?
Well, I think for me, what I just mentioned was more or less, I think we need to be aware that different companies have different starting positions. Yeah, because I mean, very easily in the media, you see that some companies are really ambushed or are really criticized because they go not quick enough. And I think that's a bit unfair. Yeah, I mean, you have some operations which are really, really difficult to decarbonize. Yeah, and I think there should be at least some sort of understanding. Yeah? Maybe not acceptance. Acceptance is a different thing, but an understanding, or there should be. Well, trust would be good to go too far, maybe, but an understanding. And how do we get the understanding? And maybe then trust. I mean, only with transparency. Yeah. So I think the biggest challenge is that every company comes up with a program and some transparency how it wants to reach its targets. And the clearer you are, also on the shortfalls, also on the areas where you may have difficulties, the better. Yeah? Because it makes no sense to greenwash and to hide behind fancy language, yeah, that you may have a problem in a certain area. I think companies are good advised to be as transparent as they can on their decarbonization target, because this will help other partners, stakeholders to understand their struggles, and then hopefully it will gain understanding and acceptance from partners. Yeah. But if you try to just bloomishly elaborate about your targets and people will get suspicious. Yeah, I mean, people will say, that sounds strange. Yeah, so this is not the right way from my perspective.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much for this answer, and I absolutely agree. And well, I definitely think that this presentation will give a very valuable perspective on the overall topic and subject of greenwashing and managing of its risks and in today's corporate world. And we are very excited to have you on the speaker board of the summit, and we'll really be looking forward to hearing your case study in Brussels.
Well, thank you, Olga. I'm looking forward to the event. I mean, you have a fantastic speaker board, and I think we're gonna have very interesting discussions.
And I would also like to use this opportunity to invite everyone to the Greenwashing Legal Risk Management and Compliance Strategy Summit that will take place on the 8th of November in Brussels. And you will get to hear Dr. Yves Bock's insights and many, many more other interesting and exciting relevant discussions.